Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head down to England once again. We're going to London this time and we're doing my third or fourth review from one of London's really highly rated craft breweries, and quite rightly so in my opinion. These guys have got a reputation for a reason in my experience. But for this one we are going to return to Beavertown Brewery and we're having a taste of their Lupuloid IPA, which comes in at 6.7%, rated 97 overall on Rate Beer and 99 within the style. This is one that I've seen the likes of Dean at Dean's Beer Reviews, you know, Craig from Kent Beer Reviews, and also Harry from Blue Nose Beer Reviews. All the English beer reviewers seem to really enjoy this one, so I'm glad that I finally was able to try it for myself. So I hope you enjoy my take on it, and do make sure you check out their videos. They've all got quite nice channels, very nice guys actually, so make sure you give them your patronage. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other Beavertown reviews I've done before. No doubt there'll be more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you happen to be interested in. Do check out the playlists of the beers from different countries, as well as the whiskey, sake reviews, interviews, all the other stuff that's in there. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries you guys would like to see me review. Always interesting to hear from you guys, and your support is hugely appreciated. And do in particular let me know about some other English beers that I should be trying, because some of them can be a little bit difficult to get a hold of in Scotland, because we do have a selection of our own stuff that's pretty good actually. But do let me know some of these English beers. But anyway, to tell you a little bit about Beavertown Brewery then. So these guys were established back in December 2011 by Logan Plant and Byron Knight in the kitchen of Duke's Brewing Q in de Beauvoir in Hackney in London. And Beavertown is actually the old Cockney area given to this, the old Cockney name given to this area of London. But the brew house was located opposite the Smokers of Barbecue restaurant, and it only ran 650 litre brews in the beginning, but of course the popularity grew and it's kind of spiralled out of control since then. But March 2013 they moved out of their home at Duke's Brewing Q and into a new site at the Fish Island in London, and since then they've moved on once again to a new 11,000 square feet facility in Tottenham Hale, which is where they also now have their tap room, and that is a venue that apparently you really do need to check out if you find yourself in London. I'm sure Craig Samuels at Kent Beer Reviews is one that will attest to that he seems to really enjoy these Beavertown beers whenever I've watched his videos. So like I say, make sure you check out Craig, Dean and Harry, and do check out some of the Beavertown beers if you haven't already. They've got a reputation, and you know, in my experience, they do seem to deserve that. Check out the website in the description below and you can see all the different ones that these guys do. I should point out actually that Logan Plant, if I remember correctly, is either the son or the grandson of Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin fame, of course, and this may well be the reason why you have this lovely psychedelic artwork on all of these cans. This is of course what Beavertown are really well known for. The first beer I tried from these guys was the Gamma Ray, and that one is still in production. That's one of the kind of most bitter IPAs that I had ever tried at the time, and it was an absolute cracker. But there you can see, here's more of this kind of lovely psychedelic artwork on this one. This beer is a fairly new release, just released this year in 2016 actually, but really nicely presented. 6.7% IPA. Unusually I couldn't find the hop and malt profile for this one, but we'll just taste it and see how we get on then. So without further ado, let's get this guy out and into the glass. So yeah, should be really nice, this one. I'm trying to think of the Beavertown ones that I've tried before. The Holy Cowbell, the Gamma Ray, I think a couple of the other ones as well. But I do need to review more of their beers. As I say, it can be quite difficult to come across some of the different English beers up here in Scotland, and we don't get them in Sweden, of course. I've not seen that many Beavertown beers over in Sweden. But yeah, as you can see, this is poured a really quite pale golden straw colour actually. There's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass there, but quite a few just going up towards the bottom of the head. If I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see there is a degree of transparency to this one, but it is quite opaque in colour. There's some big bubbles there, but they're just kind of fading away actually, going up towards the bottom of the head. The head, incidentally, is about a half finger of a frothy white thing. There's a bit of bumpiness to it, some bigger bubbles in there, but really, really nice looking beer, this one. So yeah, let's have a look at the aroma then. You know, this one really kind of leans towards the tropical side of things. There's a lot of these lighter kind of mosaic or kind of citra, lighter kind of tropical fruits coming out of this one. Yeah. So there's a good little bit of peach in here. I would say you can pick up a little bit of the peach. There's some passion fruit, which makes me wonder if there's a bit of Simcoe in there. Not quite sure about apricot, definitely a bit of peach, I'd say. A little bit of that. Peach to me always comes across as smelling just a little bit, almost kind of dusty actually. The peach in this is definitely coming across like that. I think there's mosaic and maybe citra in here. There could well be one of the New Zealand hops. It does have that almost, that kind of slightly notable tropical note that you get from the New Zealand hops. I do wonder if that's in here, and as I say, it's a bit unusual that you couldn't get the hop and malt profile from Beavertown. Usually they're on the website. But yeah, nice little bit of maybe pineapple or something in there. You can pick up a bit of kind of, I'm not sure if it's pine resin, maybe more of a kind of floral aromaticity coming out of this beer. But really it's leaning towards the juicy, lighter tropical fruits. The most dominant note in the aroma is the sort of, as I was saying, that kind of mosaic-y, almost citra-y, maybe even New Zealand tropical fruit. You can really pick that up in this one, but a bit of floral character, some nice grassiness. There is a good bit of grassiness to this beer, I would say. And underneath you can pick up a bit of bready malt. There's maybe even a little bit of biscuity character to it actually. You can just smell a little bit of sweetness under there when the fruit settles, but really, like I say, it's these lighter kind of tropical fruit notes. You know, a little bit of passion fruit, maybe some peaches in there, and some pineapple as well. Not sure, maybe a little bit of mango. But yeah, definitely these lighter tropical fruit notes. So as I always say with these beers, take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma that you get from these kind of New Zealand and American hops. There's always something interesting going on. But let's get stuck into this one now. So this one is the Lupuloid IPA from Beavertown Brewery down in London in England. Slàinte. That's really nice. Not as bitter as I was expecting, mind you. This is a nice, quite juicy IPA for me. Yeah, for me that's coming across. It's quite juicy. It's bitter in the beginning, but really for me, as I say, it just comes across with a nice, wet and lovely, juicy mouthfeel actually. As I always say, just sugar the beer around your palate and let the whole mouth adjust to it. But yeah, with this one, it's really interesting. The malt base in this is quite simple. It's that sort of pale malt, kind of white bready thing right across the middle of the palate. That really just underpins the whole beer. But the sort of hoppy character on this is where all the complexity is. So you can feel a little bit of pine resin just underpinning it, but it's not really too prominent. It's almost a bit more floral and just a little bit spicy. In the back corners of the palate, there's very little hop presence there at all. It's really on the front kind of corners where you've got the floral and the floral kind of aromatic and slightly piney things coming out. Yeah, as your mouth adjusts to it, the bitterness does start to come out that wee bit more. Around the front curve of the palate, you've got a little bit of grassiness there, which is quite nice. That kind of plays in with this more juicy mouthfeel that the beer has. But yeah, this is really nice. I'm not really getting grapefruit from this one at all, which is of course a kind of really common element of flavour in a lot of these IPAs. This one is more passion fruity, you know, there's a little bit of a kind of peachy or apricot thing in this one. It starts to get a bit more juicy as the flavour progresses. If you just pay attention to that little oily bubble that comes out behind the front of your tongue, I think there's a bit of passion fruit there, but really it's these lighter, juicy kind of citra hops that are coming out on this one. This almost citra mosaic, light tropical fruit in there. Yeah, I think a bit of peach. Yeah, that kind of smooth peachiness in there, a little bit of apricot. Not quite sure if it's passion fruit actually, but there's a little bit. There could be a little bit of a, almost not quite melony, or maybe a little bit of mango or something in there, but it's a very light tropical fruit. Just kind of a, just a sort of almost fruit bowl thing actually. It's very light, almost a little bit melony actually. I'm getting a little bit of melon out of this one, to be honest. Yeah, I think the passion fruit's probably the most notable fruit in this one, just underpinning it. A little bit of a slightly peachy, maybe apricot coming out of this one. There's a little bit of an almost smooth pineapple-y character, but there's a little bit of a sort of melony kind of thing going on in this one for me. It's kind of unusual actually. I had some melons just earlier on in the day, and the flavour in this one really is reminding me a little bit of that actually. But yeah, the bitterness just starts to build in this as you go through it, like I was saying. But overall, it's a really nice IPA, and I do like the different approach they've taken with this one, because it is more of a kind of juicy character that's coming from this one. Maybe it is meant to lean a little bit more towards the kind of New England style of IPA, but it's not quite as bitter as some of those that I've come across before. This one's more smooth in the mouthfeel and more juicy. I'd say that it's fairly mid-bodied, this one, but at the same time it's light and drinkable, and the juicy character that it has and that kind of lower bitterness does make it all the more drinkable. The carbonation is quite fine. The malt base, like I said, is very smooth. There's maybe a tiny bit of sweetness there, almost. It is pale malt, I'd say, but there maybe is just a little tiny bit of a wheaty element coming out of it as well. A little bit of hoppy bitterness, like I said, but overall the hops are a little bit juicy. The bitterness, you get a little bit of the kind of floral aromaticity, maybe even pine resins. It does start to become a bit more resinous as the flavour progresses as well, but overall it's another really quite nice IPA from Beavertown. You know, if you want something that's a big hoppy bitter blast, then obviously the Gamma Ray is the one you want to go for. But if you're more into something being a bit more juicy and fruity, and especially if you like the likes of the New Zealand kind of fruits, or this one's probably more similar. It probably has more of the mosaic and kind of a citra hop elements to it. So if you like these kind of nice, lighter, juicy tropical fruits, then this one is one that you're going to enjoy. Like I say, pineapple, a bit of passion fruit. Not quite sure about mangoes, but peaches and apricot sort of things in there as well. But overall, another really, really good beer from Beavertown, and one that I would highly recommend. So if you get the chance, try this beer. I'm not sure if this is going to be a regular one from now on, but it is one that was released recently, and you should give it a go if you are that way inclined. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. As I said, do check out Dean, Craig and Harry's reviews on this one. They really enjoyed this beer as well. Thank you for watching my beer reviews, and until the next time, slanted just now, the Lupuloid IPA from Beavertown down in London in England. Cheers.